So today we're fabbing up shock mounts on this thing. But first, I need your help, YouTube, on deciding something. Let's get out of the wind and talk about it. Okay, so now that we're out of the wind, I'm kind of at a point where I need to start figuring out the transmission for this thing. It has, if you remember from previous videos, if you follow my channel, I put a 4L80 in it, but I have not hooked it up at all, and I don't know if that tranny even works. I'd have to figure out how to make it shift without a computer. I've heard from many people that the older ones don't use a computer and it'll be fine just to run. I've heard from many people that need the manual valve body, and then I'd have to shift it manually, which I'm okay with. And like I said, I don't even know if that one is actually any good. Or I have access to an A833. Normally they're in Dodge cars, but they did come in Chevy trucks, mostly behind the 6.2 diesel. They're a 4-speed. The fourth gear is an overdrive. They're not as strong, like they're kind of a weak tranny. They're not good for hauling. So, but I know it would work. It would work. I just got to get a clutch and change the whole thing to manual. To also do so, I may have to do a body lift or modify the floor in the truck. So, what do you guys think I should do? Stick with the 4L80, go with the A833, or should I find something else? Keep in mind, I don't have the budget for like an NB4500, so it'd have to be like an SM465 or a Turbo 400 or something. And then even then, my budget for that thing right now is kind of... So, yeah, let me know what you guys think I should do. Well, we are back under the crew cab, ready to work on getting the shocks mounted. Made myself some quick little brackets here. They're not perfect. I made them in like 2 seconds on my lunch break. Got pretty much at least most of the hardware I need to get this thing together. Some stuff for the engine, some bolts for the shocks. And we'll just bolt these to here and figure out where to put them on there. But first, we are going to double check the squarity of this rear end, because when I put this in here, I centered the wheel well to the driver's side because that's the side I could see, and then while I was moving the truck, the passenger side didn't look quite centered in the wheel well. I mean, I thought it should be square because I'm using factory holes to line it up, but I got a plumb bob, and we will line it up, see how it lines up with the frame, and then measure forwards or backwards or whatever to see how much it is out. So after some plumb bobbing, some chalk marking, and some tape measuring, the axle seems nice and even on the frame. It measures the same to the cross member, it measures the same to some bolt holes on either side here, measures the same to the back of the frame rail. So axle is square to the frame at least. It's not center in the wheel well. This one's about 1/2 inch back from center, and that side is 3/8 back from center. but this box is tweaked, especially after I hit it into the avalanche unloading it at the last house. As you can see, it's pushed in and up. There's the body line does not line up anymore, and you can see this whole bunch of cab here that you shouldn't be able to see and you don't see on the other side. So and the other side is all folded in under here, so it is a little hard to measure, but the whole axle is back from center, but not enough for me to worry about it, especially since we're running big tires. I probably will come into clearance issues, and I am more likely to hit there than I am here because this side is a little higher up. And I could always, since this box is starting to get beat up already, I haven't even driven the truck, I'm kind of starting to be okay cutting the box up. So I might, because I got to build custom bumper to hold my sling, might do what I did with the Suburban. I know I did this with the Nissan, just with all of them, and I might just like cut it along there and then build wraparound bumper. Also, for the tow truck version of this, I might eventually kind of from here cut the box down to the body line, cut it all off the top here, and then cap that off so it's a little bit more accessible for tow truck stuff. And then remove the tailgate and just have one piece that comes across, which is the dip in the middle for the sling to flip up. That'll be a lot of work, but it is on my mind of something to do. But right now I'd like to just get this thing running and driving first before we even worry about any of the tow truck stuff. Sorry, totally forgot where I was going with that and stopped filming. So I think I'm just going to leave the axle where it is, finish drilling the holes, so that means we can move on to the shocks right now and figure out where those brackets go. Yeah, she'll sit kind of like that. That looks really good to me. We're going to do the other side first because we have some fitment issues with some things. We have some clearance issues to deal with. And then I'd like to have both the shocks at the same angle. So we'll do that one first and then figure out this one. So on this side, this is where ended up being. I was hoping to have them nicely straight up and down and matching each other, but this one, just because of that spring perch there, I mean, I know I could always notch this out or notch that out and have this here like so, but it'll be fine like that. This isn't a show truck, it's going to be a functional truck, and that'll be plenty functional. And then what it looks like on the other side, up down, will be right there. Not as crooked. I mean, I could have it angled to match the other one, but I kind of, this one, it would look a little cleaner like that, and I feel like this one you'd see more in the other one. I don't know why my logic is there for that. I think I'm gonna clean that up a little bit, weld those on. I commandeered a welder for now, so I'm gonna use that because I will be grinding off my marks here, and I don't want to have to remeasure and redo them and stuff. What I did is I took this and used it as a straight edge. It's just the blade from my Olfa knife, box cutter, whatever you want to call it, and moved them out a blade width. And now I will grind down in here and then move them back in a blade width, and I'll know where they were. Got my welder all set up, and I think I'm going to weld the nuts to the backside of this so I don't have to fight to get a wrench up in there. It wouldn't be too bad, but just that one little extra thing. Hopefully the welder does not blow the breaker. I was trying to weld in the garage a while ago and it kept popping the breaker, but I was trying to weld some pretty heavy stuff and had it turned up quite high. So hopefully it doesn't pop the breaker. If not, I might have to try to run it from the house instead of the garage. The garage, everything all runs on one breaker. The lights, the door, the one plug that works out of the 4. It's just horrible in there. So hopefully it doesn't pop the breaker. If not, there's power like right there at the house. I don't even know if that works, so we'll have to just see. Well, that ended up not going so bad. I think I'm gonna try to weld it into the truck now. So I did this side in 2 passes. I only did half of it and then the other half, because that's how I discovered before that I wouldn't pop the breaker. But the other side, I got greedy. Popped the breaker with that much left. Yeah, these welds are all right. They're certainly strong enough for shock mounts. I wouldn't want to do the wrecker stuff with it, but for shock mounts that would be all right. And there we go. She's mounted in there. Little crooked this way. Was hoping they'd be a little more straight up and down. I could have got it a little closer to the frame rail, I guess. It's really hard to get a camera in here, I guess. Yeah, like I got room in there, but it is what it is. I could always cut it off, make it better later. But that one's in. That one over there is welded up. I just got to bolt it all up. And back shocks are done. Then I have the proper hardware for the front ones. Right here. And in this bag. And we can do the front ones. This one's all in too. Apparently I need a new boot. This one's all not good. The only problem, I think I mentioned this before in another video, like a year ago. This nut hits this. I can't get the nut on, but I want to do the U-bolts that go the other way, and that way I can have my bracket that does my sideways shocks. Hopefully those, yeah, they should pass by there. There should be lots of room. I think they actually sit out here anyways. I don't think those actually do anything, but we're gonna put them on anyways. Front shocks are all in. I didn't get the right bolts for that for the top, so I still got to get the bolts for the top, but the bottoms are in properly now and not just with 3/8 bolts like before, or just hanging. But I can pretty much, other than the 2 top bolts here and that one, I can mark that off my list for now, and then when I get U-bolts I can put that one on. Yeah, shocks are pretty much done now.